been a rising number of attacks on Teslas across the country and even a few international incidents. Most attacks include burning the Teslas at dealerships and even burning down charging stations.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
Which proves what we've already known for a long time, which is that no one gives a shit about the environment.
Let's conservate.
Not Republicans, and clearly not Democrats, despite what they've been saying. The only person who actually cares is Elon Musk, who's probably done more for the environment than any single person in human history.
How dare you!
And leftists are trying to destroy him for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your Dumpster Fire! Welcome to Dumpster Fire, where we make burgers out of your sacred cows. We launch new episodes every Tuesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Central. World leaders are flying in on private jets and bulldozing the Amazon rainforest to build a highway in order to host a summit on climate change. You heard that correctly. I couldn't make this up. This is so hilarious and so much of a parody that if AI suggested this, I would be like, sorry, AI, this is not believable. I just try to imagine the protesters getting their marching orders and trying to figure out where they stand on something. They're like, but the environment, but fascism. Which one is it? What does the email tell us to do? And it's like, ding, oh, it's lithium battery fires this week. I guess it's firebombing Teslas. So fascism this week, not the environment. The environment. It turns out no one cares. No one cares about the whales. I've been lied to my whole entire life. People have thrown Molotov cocktails at Teslas, shot at a dealership at 2 a.m, spray painted them, and even destroyed them with pickaxes. There was a hilarious video going around from Oregon or somewhere in the Pacific Northwest where they've all lost their minds. And they were publicly destroying this Tesla. And it's funny because you pull away, it looks like they're just advertising for, you know, like a church car wash, and then pans to these people just destroying a Tesla. I'm like, that was not where I thought this video was going at all.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
There was a suspected arson attack at a Tesla plant in Germany. Cars were burned at a dealership in France. They're tagging them with swastikas. It's bananas. And how does the media cover this, you might ask? Well, exactly how you would expect, by calling the attacks very spirited, peaceful demonstrations. We are in the mostly peaceful Tesla firebombings news cycle. That's where we are now. We've been here before, folks. We're familiar with this. Trump threatened to label the vandals domestic terrorists.
Mr. President talks about some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. I'll do it. I'm going to stop them.
And an MSNBC anchor reporting on this said,
just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist.
Yeah, because that's exactly what he meant. The media would have you believe that suburban moms raising their voices at school board meetings are domestic terrorists, but not people shooting guns into dealerships and throwing Molotov cocktails.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Can you imagine if this was reversed? Can you imagine if this was a Lululemon or a Ben & Jerry's that was getting firebombed by the right? And I know you're going to be shocked to hear this, but there hasn't been a single Democrat in office that has condemned the escalating attacks on Tesla and charging stations.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here. You're winning, sir. Oh, thank you very much.
It is so crazy, though. It truly is infuriating because no one really cares when the left gets violent. It's wild. The media in particular doesn't seem to care at all. And do you remember back during COVID and during like all of these school hearings where parents would get mad about boys in their girls' changing rooms and the DOJ was like, these are domestic terrorists. Like, okay. Trump, in response to all of this, bought a Tesla and had a photo op at the White House with Elon and a Tesla, a red Tesla. And he said the now iconic, when he sat in it, everything's computer.
This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer. That's beautiful.
Oh, is he from the future?
I love this guy so much. He does say these things that are just instant classics. Some guy had the best tweet about this that went viral. He's like, I hate this man so much, and I hate how goddamn funny he is. Constantly adding shit to my lexicon without my consent. Everything's computer. Beautiful. Fuck you. Reporter Drew Holden had a tweet where he was highlighting the difference in the media coverage between when Biden drove an electric Ford F-150 in a photo op and when Trump did. And one was just a benign headline about Biden saying, this sucker's quick. And then the other is about how Trump is propping up his billionaire sidekick as the economy tanks. I do want to be clear, this was all happening to the backdrop of everyone's portfolios taking a giant dump. And my take is that most Americans don't care who loves or hates Teslas when their retirement portfolio is crashing and they're not sure if they're going to be homeless and on food stamps in their elderly years. They're not really worried about the culture wars. They go kind of out the window when everyone's broke.
And it's gone.
If you only consume left-wing media, however, you might think that this is the beginning of a corrupt oligarchy. But lest we forget, Biden gave billions of taxpayer money to Jeep's owner Stellantis, the United Auto Workers Union, which receives profit sharing from Stellantis somehow, backed the move. My point is, we've been a corrupt oligarchy for a long time now. Look, I'm all over the place. I realize that, as usual. We're about to enter a very strange timeline where there are Cybertrucks driving around with "Don't Tread on Me" flags and Teslas with swastikas. It's a weird, inverse world that we live in. I will conclude with this. There's no better sign, even though all of everybody's retirements are tanking, they're coming back, don't worry. There's no better sign of American prosperity than when we get mad, we destroy $50,000 cars. I'm so mad I'm going to sell my Tesla has got to be one of the funniest things I've ever heard someone say in dead seriousness. You think I won't do it? I'll absolutely do it. I will set my Tesla on fire.
Everything I do is so dramatic and flamboyant. It just makes me want to set myself on fire.
There are poor people like, I would have taken that car. We've also learned leftists don't care about poverty either. The biggest difference, I think, in the two parties is that one party is open about their lack of care and the other tries to hide it behind being good people. Before our next segment, don't forget to like, subscribe, touch my bells and buttons, and tell your friends about us. Please help us reach our goal of 100,000 subscribers. You guys are doing great. We're getting there. It's slow, it's steady, and you guys have spoken. When we hit 100,000, I will do my best Mexican weather report. Working on that right now. You have to stick around through the ad to see the weather report, guys. Sorry, them's the rules. It's my favorite part of the episode where we talk about my husband's balls. Today's episode is brought to you by Sheath underwear. And I love this sponsor, as you all know. Their patented dual pouch system is revolutionary. It cradles your balls, lovingly, of course, in their own pouch. And there's a separate pouch for the genitalia, and you can put your giant manhood through that hole, and it keeps everything separate from the legs, so you're nice and comfortable, and nothing is sticking together. It's getting hot. Spring is here. You're going to be out there doing yard work. I've seen all you suburban dads outside. Keep those nuts compartmentalized. They're moisture wicking. It keeps everything cool and separated. Everyone who tries these underwear swears they'll never go back. My husband, it's the only underwear he wears. Sheath underwear, the underwear of legends. Go to sheath.com and use promo code dumpster to get 20% off your next order. That's sheath.com, promo code dumpster to get 20% off your entire order. The link is in the description below. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's check the weather with Susana Alameda.
Vemos qué sucede. En la imagen de satélite observamos un canal de baja presión extendiéndose sobre la Sierra Madre Occidental, otro sobre la Sierra Madre Oriental, ocasionando bastante inestabilidad. En conjunto con la humedad de ambos litorales, generan lluvias de moderadas a fuertes, algunas torrenciales en estados, sí, aquí en Jalisco, Colima, Michoacán.
Thank you, Susana.
It's fun.
guy. Gavin Newsom's podcast has launched, and his first guests have been Charlie Kirk, right-wing activist, Michael Savage, radio host and Trump supporter, Steve Bannon, former chief strategist for the first Trump administration in 2016, and architect, some might say, of the new right. Gavin Newsom, welcome to the IDW. For those of you who don't know what that joke was about, it's a reference to the intellectual dark web, which is any of the kind of resistance or reactionary left-wing people, all the people who kind of left, the classical liberals, if you will. Lulu Chang Maservi said on X, I love Lulu, she's in PR, she's brilliant. I was initially derisive of this podcast, but clearly Newsom has off-the-charts political instincts. Now he's right-washing his past as he moves to the middle. If he spends the next few years sparring, honing his arguments, and deploying his charm with opponents the way he does here, all while building a larger audience, he will be a menace on the presidential debate stage. Right-washing is such a great term, and I want to credit Lulu with it because it is so brilliant. It's absolutely what this guy is doing, and he is very savvy and has really outstanding political instincts, survival instincts. The guy has failed up. He's sitting in a state of literal ashes and burned rubble, and he is just laughing away on his new podcast. Commentators on X push back against Lulu's idea that he's someone to worry about, saying that he won't play for normal Americans. And I tend to agree because the rest of America has been flooded with refugees fleeing California. I am one of them. I experienced this hostility personally when I moved to Texas and still had my California plates. I'd be driving down the freeway and these huge trucks would get right on my ass and then they'd zoom around me and slam on the brakes just to like with me, and then they'd pull over to the side and they'd be like, go back to where you came from! Only it would be in Spanish.
That's good old-fashioned family racism. So
I do understand that instinct. Most of America, I mean, there was that ongoing joke that he was like the U-Haul employee of the month or whatever because so many people left his state. Most of them have driven prices up on houses and markets all over America. There's bumper stickers that say, don't California my state or whatever. I will say, though, nothing matters. We saw that you could vote for a man who is senile on the left or a woman who clearly has no idea what's going on and has completely failed upward in her career and stands for absolutely nothing as long as they are a Democrat. So I would not, like, even if this doesn't play in America, depending on how the next 4 years go, I would not underestimate this guy at all. And I think you would do so at your peril. Gavin was flattering Charlie Kirk, saying his son's a huge fan of Kirk.
Last night, trying to put my son to bed, he's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie going to be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming.
And I also don't think enough people are pointing out the fact that, like so many other young men, Gavin's son has been red-pilled, and now Gavin gets to have his own little Baron Trump, a little genius, a little young man. He's like, see, kids, I have a young son who's red-pilled. I have a young son who's cool with those cool MAGA kids now. And I think Newsom is learning from not just Trump, not just Barron, not just this election, but also from his son. This guy is so savvy. He's so savvy, and the average consumer of his stuff is not. So he can fool a lot of people. People will still vote for this guy. I lived in California. He went to the French Laundry while we were locked down. And this became a joke on his podcast that he laughed off and said, oh, it was a bonehead move. Ha ha.
You're whining and dining at French Laundry.
Yes. Dumbest bonehead move of my life. Okay. Own it. Move on. Grow up.
See? Right-washed. Completely absolves himself of it. Takes a little bit of responsibility. chuckles sadistically and also maniacally and also like a sociopath because people couldn't say goodbye to their loved ones. Kids didn't learn how to read. And you are like, haha, that was a bonehead move of mine. I'm such an idiot. Look at me, how relatable. And then just moves on. And then he's like, we had to have that happen to even have this conversation. Like, it's genius and it's terrifying because the guy is a psychopath who is just empty inside. It's wild to me. Gavin understands very basic human stuff, though. He understands how far flattery will get you. Someone criticizes you and you just pivot into a compliment and flatter them and the person backs off.
But the point is
you canceled school for like 2 years. Once one day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
Here's why I'm concerned, because you have expressed that I should be concerned as a Democrat, that we're getting clobbered.
Okay. Yes.
That you've figured something out.
It's not me. The president first deserves the credit.
But why? No, hold on. You were at this before Trump was Trump.
I know.
The only thing all of these right-wing influencers going on Gavin's podcast proves to me is that they only care about attention and clicks in this space because this guy's floundering and these right-wing people are throwing him a lifeline. I don't know why they're doing this, but it will undermine their entire movement. I should go on Gavin's podcast. I should be up front with him beforehand and be like, Gavin, I know you have people on who disagree with you, but it's not just that I disagree with you. I hate you. So do you have the balls to have me on and I can lay out why I hate you?
I hate you, Kenny.
To the right, I will say, underestimate Gavin Newsom at your own peril. He's Teflon. He is the left-wing version of Trump in his ability to survive. He's sitting in the ashes of his state, and everyone's like, look how great this guy is. He's talking to people on the other side. He survived the destruction of California. He might pivot and run as a Republican. The crazy thing is that this guy has started a podcast. There's $20 billion that were given by taxpayers to homelessness, completely unaccounted for. They have no idea where it went. No one can answer any questions. $20 billion, which I realize to government officials is like, oh, that's nothing. That's just a drop in the bucket. But that is a lot of money to just have go AWOL. You also have the rail that they haven't even laid a single barely track of, and that's been billions and billions of dollars down the drain.
Well, and he's also vetoed several bills to like audit where the $20 billion went or like where the homelessness money went.
This guy. And he's still governor. He survived a recall attempt. He has failed every single place he's gone, has just demonstrably gotten worse. And he still continues to fail up. Gavin Newsom, bored with destroying California, is looking to destroy the rest of America. He will be our president someday, or he will at least run, and I will have to make it my personal life mission to put a stop to this. We can't let it happen, America. But you really cannot compete with the kind of money, shamelessness, and serial killer charm that Gavin Newsom has going for him. He's a psycho. Gavin Newsom secretly paid for a bust of himself to be sculpted and placed inside San Francisco City Hall to commemorate his term as mayor. I mean, relatable. He donated money from companies that he owned to a nonprofit and earmarked the donations for mayoral busts at San Francisco City Hall.
The damn thing cost almost $100,000 too.
I mean, a bust of himself. This is Trump's imagined golden statue in Gaza. Only his is real. Don't say we didn't warn you, America. Gavin Newsom is coming.
Phetasy News.
All right. This was fun. As usual, we love you. Thank you for joining us. If you love Dumpster Fire, the best thing you can do is become a supporter at Phetasy.com. It's really a lot of content for your money. You get the unedited version of Dumpster Fire, and we leave a lot of inappropriate things on the cutting room floor. You also get access to everything else we're doing, and it's a lot. You get the podcast with my husband, Factory Settings. You get another round with Maggie and me. Join us right here on YouTube every Tuesday and Friday night at 8 p.m. Central for a new Dumpster Fire. We do a live chat, which is always hilarious. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us there. We moved Walk-Ins Welcome off this YouTube channel. So please, everyone go subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Walk-Ins Welcome with Bridget Phetasy. There's a link in the description below. Thank you to everyone who helps make Dumpster Fire possible. Thank you to Sheath for sponsoring today's episode. And thank you, supporters, subscribers, and all of you. We can't do this without you. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Bridget.
Now to cleanse your palate, the internet is glorious. Remember, life is absurd. Don't take yourself so damn seriously. Take the work seriously. Don't take yourself seriously. That's no fun. This has been your Dumpster Fire. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make me rich so I can have a bust made of myself to put behind me on the Dumpster Fire set.
That's really what we need. We need a bronze bust of Bridget for the new set.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns.